Singapore's median salary just hit $5,775 per month. And that is like more than 40% growth compared to 10 years ago. But let me ask you honestly, do you really feel richer compared to 10 years ago? In today's video, we shall discuss why the median income has gone up over the years, but life still feels tight for many people. First of all, we have to really go and review and analyze what is median income, because some of you cannot even comprehend the difference between median income versus average income or mean income. Now, to put it very clear, the stats are coming from MOM, Ministry of Manpower. So it's official government stats. It is not plucked out of thin air. Okay, this is as accurate as it can get. And this $5,775 per month is gross monthly income, and that includes employer/platform operator CPF contributions. And that means for those of you who are below 55 years old, will include your 17% employer's contribution. Not only that, it also includes 1/12 of the annual bonus, or we usually call it AWS, annual wage supplement. So it's 1/12 of it. So it covers both employee and self-employed data, and it's really for Singaporeans and PRs only. So no foreigners are included, and most importantly, this is only median income. Now, if you go a little bit deeper, since this $5,775 includes the employer CPF contribution of 17%, why not we just take away this 17%, and that will be 5,775 divided by 1.17, which gives you $4,936 per month. But let's be clear again, this $4,936 will include 1/12 of the monthly pay, because for AWS accumulation. Okay, but if you want to take it out, that's on your own calculation. But let's fix it at $5,775, and then without employee contribution, that's $4,936. And since this is a median income, that means half of you watching will be earning more than $4,936, and the other half of you will have less than $4,936 per month before employer contribution. So which half are you? I know that some of you watching will be complaining already. Cannot be so high one now. My pay is only 4,000 plus, 3,000 plus. Where got so high? It doesn't mean that the statistic is wrong, because numbers are already there. It's just which half you belong to. So if you're on the lower half, should you strive to go to the higher half? I think that's your motivation to do it. And the median income number is the most realistic income number for a typical Singaporean worker. And if you want to join the discussion to discuss your salary and income, come and join us at over 22,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group. But I really want to dive deeper into this topic, because this is just a big number that everybody sees, $5,775. But if we look back 10 years ago, 2015, what was the number? The monthly income was about $3,950. And this year, 2025 is $5,775. So if you take the difference and calculate the percentage growth, that is a 46% increase, almost 50% already, which sounds very impressive, right? But hold on, let me take a break and then tell you what is something wrong with this data, because the number hasn't factored in inflation, and inflation will change everything. In fact, the inflation adjusted number was also provided by MOM, because if you look at this number, after inflation, real income growth is only about 23% over 10 years. That works out to be roughly 2% growth every year after accounting for inflation. And that also means around 50% of your salary growth number is eaten up away by inflation. Half of it is real growth, half of it is inflation. And I don't think I need to explain inflation anymore, right? Generally, prices do increase over time, be it like your housing costs, childcare costs, dining out costs, transportation costs, grocery costs, insurance. All these daily expenses are creeping up quietly. And if your wage growth cannot even cover inflation, then that means you're facing a wage declination. You'll realize that even though you earn more money, but there are less things that you can buy with the same amount of $100. Last time you can buy one whole trolley of groceries, but now maybe only half. Also, I want to make a very clear distinction of what is mean income versus median income. And if you scroll it down, you'll see this average income being $6,429 for third quarter 2025. This is the mean income. It's not the median income. Mean income means that it's put up by a few highly paid or high income individual people who may be earning $1 million of salary, and that will pull up the average income or mean income of the total number of Singaporeans and PRs working here. So we want to distinguish, right, Mean income is a more accurate measure because it measures the middle person, the most middle person, not the average person. Average person will be pulled up by the high income earners. And you realize this $6,429 is still like 700 plus difference from the median income of $5,775. And this is why people feel left behind, even though things looks good on the numbers sense. Taking a deeper look, if we look at the last 5 years reality from 2020 to 2025, you'll realize the real median income growth is only 1.6% per year. Okay, real income growth after factoring inflation, 1.6% is barely above inflation. So yes, though your gross income or gross salary has increased, but your lifestyle probably hasn't changed much because your other expenses are also creeping up at the same time. So your salary growth can only grow so little against the basket of your other expenses. And this is why some of you may have this thought. I thought I earn more, but why I like enjoying less of my life? Also, another interesting data, if we look at the bonus quantum, you realize that this few years, the bonuses are much smaller compared to pre-2020. Nowadays, the trend is less than 2 months of bonus. Okay, whereas if you look at pre-2020, it's usually above 2 months now. So now companies are becoming more uptight about their budget in giving out the bonuses. So this is a fact. But all these are just data. What are you going to do with the numbers? I think it's very important to understand the fact that if you're around median income, your salary growth is only one part. And if you just rely on it, it's going to be very risky. And savings rate matter more than ever. But what is more important to realize that if you're above the median income, even though your income is quite good, but all these things will still get eaten up by inflation. And the only way to counter inflation or to cover inflation is to buy assets. Assets that can grow with time, grow with value, and maybe outpace inflation. Especially if you're a self-employed person or business owner, you can scale your income, no problem. But I'm very sure you know of this thing called business volatility, where it is seasonal. Sometimes your business is good, sometimes it's not so good. Then you have to plan for the rainy days. So structure, tax planning, and investing matters a lot more than people think. So if you learn accounting before, you know assets, liabilities, and owner's equity, and then you have income and expenses, right? So income will only pay the bill, whereas assets will build the security as a base and hopefully cover the inflation as it grows in value. And if you already know that the income growth is slowing, then the real question to ask yourself is, what are you doing with the money that you managed to save? And this is where investing matters, because where you put your money is very important. And that's where you can take a look at Longbridge Singapore, the sponsor of today, where it has a wide access to global markets like US and Hong Kong, and even Singapore, where you can buy stocks and ETFs to start off your investment journey. Now, what I like about Longbridge is that it is lifetime free, zero commissions, plus a limited time period of zero platform fee for new users. So you already start off with one of the lowest costs in the market. For February welcome rewards, you can trade options with $0 commission and up to $100 of options cash coupons. And for partner exclusive links only, you can get 5% per annum interest boost coupon on $2,000 of subscription for 365 days when you subscribe to Longbridge Cash Plus. And for the fund and trade promo, there are 4 tiers. For example, if we just look at tier 2, if you fund and deposit 10,000 Singapore dollars, maintain for 90 days and complete 5 buy trades, you can get 150 Singapore dollars of Nvidia and 150 Singapore dollars of Apple stocks. Gallop into the new year with Longbridge Angbao, where everyone will receive a sure win rate packet. New users will open an Angbao worth from $8.80 to 888 Singapore dollars with no deposit required. Hope you huat big. So if you're like me, focus on building your assets over time and growing in value, then check out my Longbridge link in the description or scan the QR code to get your Longbridge account and start your investment journey today. So having learned of all these numbers, what do they really mean for you? Knowing that $5,775 is the median income now, I don't want you to feel despair if you belong to the lower half. I want you to really understand that it's just a phase of life that you have to go through. Okay, if you really think that your income is not up to par, you really need to look for places where you can increase your income. Can you take on more side hustles? Can you build a skill that is high value and one day grow it to become a full scale business? Because the fact is, Singapore did not get poorer. More people are having a higher median income, but you can really feel the effects of inflation as things around you gets more expensive. So median income is just a number indicator. It doesn't mean that life has got easier, because as everyone earns more people can afford nicer things. And the nicer things also increase in price. So the baseline has already moved. And if you yourself are below the baseline, what are you doing today to reach the baseline at least, or even exceed the baseline in upcoming years? And I really want to hear from you, the viewer, whether you belong above the $5,775 income, or you are still working towards it. Okay, I want to see where you're coming from. So if you are above, you can comment above +1. And if you're below, you can comment below +1, just to see a rough statistics of who are my viewers. But I guess the key thing to any salary related content or income content is that don't compare with other people, alright? If you just benchmark yourself to the median income, you may feel quite miserable because you're not earning it. But when you compare to yourself 5 years ago, do you feel that you have improved, whether in financial circumstances, whether in family ties, or whether in networks, your own skills, or your career? Do you feel that you have improved? As long as you have done something to improve yourself, I think it's worth an encouragement. And if you need some more motivation and inspiration, I'll highly encourage you to watch this previous video of mine to spur you into growing your own financial wealth journey.